The Ashley wood-burning fireplace insert is gone. It has been replaced with the Regency i1500 Cascades series wood-burning fireplace insert. This is the small Regency insert, and the Cascades series is a hybrid, meaning it has secondary combustion via air injected in the top of the firebox, as well as a catalytic combustor. At this point, this unit was just installed, but I wanted to take time in this video and just go over an overview of this unit, some of its features and attributes, and pass that information along. I should explain why we chose this particular unit, the i1500, over the non-catalytic i1150. And in that regard, the big reason for choosing this was because the i1500 meets the threshold of 75% efficiency by higher heating value to be able to be eligible for the 26% tax credit in the United States for biomass heaters that was available in 2021 and 2022. That credit is available on the purchase price of the unit and the installation, so it ends up being a good deal and makes the hybrid unit more economical than the straight non-catalytic secondary combustion unit. That's really the big reason for going with this unit over the 1150. I'll also point out that we went with the small unit in this case because the room that this is in is only 15 feet by 15 feet. It's got a 30-inch door on kind of opposite walls in the room, so it's not a large space and there's not a ton of air circulation in and out of this space. On top of that, on the other side of this chimney is the Woodstock Soapstone Ideal Steel. And that stove burns pretty much 24/7 through the heating season and provides for most of our heating needs. So this unit here only needs to be small because it's really intended for heating this space and making this room as a sitting room warm and cozy. Another reason for going with the small unit like this in this room has to do with clearances. Clearances are really important when you're selecting a wood-burning appliance. In this case, the fireplace is big enough to take the largest insert that is made. However, the surround and the hearth itself aren't able to accommodate everything. So this is unique. The facing here around the sides of this fireplace, it's not a typical trim facing board, which is what most units are designed for with respect to clearances. In this case, it actually sticks out 3 inches. And up here at the top, this is a 3-inch protrusion. So this essentially counts as a mantle, even though the real mantle is all the way up here. So you can't have a lot of units based on this wood facing. The other thing is the stone only extends about 18.5 inches out from the face of the brick. In the United States, you need 16 inches in front of your door opening of non-combustible floor protection. So we can only have a unit that protrudes 2 inches maximum out from the face of the brick. And that's basically what this unit does. The next larger unit protrudes 6 inches out, and then you have to get into having additional floor protection put in to be able to meet all of those clearances. So not only did we want a small unit based on the space, we needed a small unit based on the clearances and the configuration of this fireplace. So here it is. What we'll do now is we'll take a look through the unit, some features, some dimensions, and some of my perceptions of it just based on it being installed, having not burned it yet. This is a small firebox. It's pretty much necessary to load it east to west or side to side, which means that when you stack logs in there, there's the potential for them rolling forward against the door. It's nice that these little andirons are included to help retain those logs in the firebox. They're easily removable. They just lift right up and out. And so if you didn't want them in there, you could remove them. But I think they'll be nice at keeping the wood and the fire away from the glass, which should help the glass stay cleaner. We'll take a look now at some real-world dimensions on this. So if I put the tape measure into the back of the fire brick. It is 1 foot to right here, just inside the lip of the door opening. So basically from the door to the back of the firebox is 1 foot. When we go side to side, let me get the tape measure inside the firebox, we have 18¼ inches side to side measuring across the firebox. So you can fit an 18-inch log in there. However, it would have to be perfect cut on the ends as an 18-inch log to go in there side to side. If you wanted to put something front to back, 1 foot is all you have up to the lip of the door. And if we go based on the andiron support, that's 9 inches. So there's 9 inches from the back brick to the inside of that andiron support. And then in terms of the height from the floor of the firebox up to the secondary tube, you can't see that on the camera, but it's 9½ inches from the floor of the firebox up to the secondary tube. And the height on the door opening itself is 8 inches. What I have here is a typical piece of my firewood. This is a piece of red oak. This one is exactly 16 inches long. So I want to see how that goes in there. So if we take this and set it in. So here is this 16-inch long piece of red oak firewood. It is set back against the brick. If we look kind of down looking up, you can see you could fit probably a piece on top, another piece in front, and maybe squeeze one more on top of that. So about 4 pieces of wood that size would make it in there. You might be able to pack it a little bit more if you had small round ones to kind of get into some of the gaps. One observation about the fire brick liner in this firebox is there are very few full-sized bricks, which is a little bit disappointing. In terms of full-size bricks, you've got 1, 2, 3, and then you've got 1 there and 1 on this side. In the back, these are not full-size, full-height bricks. Now, why does that matter? Well, one reason it matters is because these do wear out and they do crack over time. If it's a full-size brick, it's easy to replace. You can just go buy one off the shelf. They're really inexpensive, and you can pop it in. When you have a brick that is not full-size, you either have to order the cut and sized brick from Regency, which would be expensive, or you have to have the right tools and equipment to take a full-size brick and then cut it down to size, which means having a miter saw with a blade that can cut brick or stone and then making those cuts yourself. My preference would be to see as many full-sized bricks lining a firebox as possible. This door is essentially the same as the i1500 that we have had previously. The latch here is the same, this cam. This was very durable. There was no issues with it on that other unit. It does have washers, as you can see there. So as your gasket compresses down, you can adjust this by removing washers so that it'll pull in tighter to make sure that you have a good seal. This is actually the same door that's used on the 1150 as well as the freestanding stoves, the 1150, the 1500, and I believe this door also fits on the freestanding stove, the 2450. We did get this unit with a blower. A blower on a wood burning insert, in my opinion, is a necessity, although it is an option. So the one thing about this blower, which is different than the i2400 that we had before and might be different than the current 2450 and 2500, is that with this small blower, the cord only comes out on the left side. Now this is a long cord, so it does reach an outlet, but unfortunately there's no way to switch it so that the cord exits on the right side instead of the left side. On the i2400 blower, you could actually have the cord come out of either side depending on where your outlet is. Unfortunately for us, the outlet happens to be to the right, so as it stands now, there's no other way to do this than to run this cord right across the front, which I think is unfortunate. Another difference with this blower compared to the blower we had on the i2400 is that this one is heat activated only. With the i2400 blower, you could switch it from auto to manual, and if it were on auto, it was temperature actuated, and on manual, you could just have it blow. Another difference is the i2400 just had two settings, high and low. This one seems like it's probably variable speed on the blower as opposed to a high and low setting. So I'll be curious to see how that works when we do get this going in the fall. The air control on the i1500 is right here front and center. This is the grill for the blower fan, and right here is the air control. So right now it is slid all the way closed, and you just slide it over. That's all the way open. Now what is nice about this, and hopefully you can see it, is there is a little cutout there. So you can kind of see on the left side that little cutout is showing a wider opening than on the right side. And so that's giving you an indication of which way is less air and which way is more air. So you move that to the left, you get more air, you move it to the right, you're closing down the air control. The baffle on the i1500 is actually quite different from the i2400 that I've had previously. This baffle is much thinner. It's only about a ½ an inch thick, and then there's one large centerpiece and then two little skinny side pieces there, which you can kind of see the joint right there. This side piece, one on each side, is only about an inch wide, a little over an inch wide. So I don't know how I'm going to like that. It is easy enough to remove. You do have to take out this front tube to do it, but we'll see how it holds up. Here we're looking up inside the Regency i1500 with the baffle removed. This box here with this flame shield on it, this perforated metal is the flame shield, contains the catalytic combustor. This unit is right over the flue exit in the stove. There's a rod above the door, and you pull that rod out, the entire combustor assembly slides away from that flue exit to bypass the catalyst. So now behind that square there, the smoke can exit directly up the chimney. You engage it by simply sliding it back so that the combustor blocks the flue exit and all those gases go through the catalyst. Here is the rod controlling the bypass of the catalyst. So here is the little hook tool for operating this. There are two little notches. I don't even know if you can kind of see those, but basically this grabs in there and then you can pull to open the bypass or push in to engage the catalyst. With the door closed, the control rod for the catalyst is very, very close to the top of the door. It does clear the door, but just barely. The unit came with this catalyst probe thermometer, so the little wire here runs down in behind the faceplate. It's hidden away. If there were enough space, this actually does mount right to the side of this faceplate. There's a designed spot for it, but because this was so tight on this facing, I ended up mounting it up here next to the unit instead. And that's kind of nice because it takes it out of the field of view of everybody who's in the room. If you're in the market for a wood insert like this, be aware that a lot of manufacturers, Regency included, will price things a la carte. In other words, you get a price for the body of the unit, then the door is a separate piece that you can buy because there are different door options. This is the standard black door, but then they have ones with different accents and things like that. The blower is an add-on option, and then the surround is an add-on option. And the reason for that is because there are different size surrounds for the unit. This happens to be the oversized surround because the standard surround wasn't tall enough to cover the fireplace opening here. So just be aware that you're gonna, if you look at a quote for a unit, have all of these different things spec'd out in the quote. The other thing with this unit is there are different flue adapters, and that's another thing that's quoted separately from the body of the unit in terms of this a la carte style pricing. So there's a standard flue adapter, which is what this unit has,
And then there's an offset flue adapter, and which one you get is going to be based on the requirements in your fireplace and for your chimney.
So that's an overview of what this Regency i1500 Cascades hybrid wood burning insert looks like, its features and aspects. We have not burned this unit yet. We won't burn it until this fall. At that time, I look forward to seeing how it performs and then making some additional videos on this unit and its performance and its operation. Hopefully you found this helpful if you're looking at wood burning inserts or Regency inserts in particular.